Today, I want to talk about the social contract of a collector and a vendor at a card show and the process of uh, trading or selling cards to a vendor. My name is Michael. I run Fable Table Games. You can find me at fabletablegames.com, which is always the best price for all my stuff. I sell all my magic at 5% below market, including commander decks, booster boxes. Anything I have in stock, it's at least 5% below market. So go check it out. The dynamic at a card show is very interesting because you have at a card show, you have everybody from somebody who just likes to open boxes and wants to sell their extras to people who, that is their livelihood. Not that they do cards full time, they do card shows full time. That is their job. That is how they make their living. So you have a wide gamut of folks. And then the other side, on the buyer side, you have people who it's their first card show, and that's awesome. I love seeing people from their first card shows that go to their first card shows, and I try and engage them, kind of give them some of the tips, like you can negotiate that kind of stuff. But then you have folks who are vendors who aren't vending there that day. They had plans or they got canceled or for whatever reason, and they're going around trying to source inventory. You have everything in between, and that can lead to some contention whenever you are negotiating a sales price for a card to a vendor. I'm going to start from the buyer side. So you will see buyers on, well, I guess in this case, the attendee, the card show attendee. You will see folks on the internet, Reddit, other YouTube videos, Instagram, whatever, say, I'm not selling to a vendor at 70% of market value. That's a ripoff. And that's false. That's just incorrect. I think, like, yes, it is not full market value. But what you are doing is you are paying for a service. You are saying, I have this $100 card. It's cool. I opened it out of a collector booster. I don't need this card for my deck. I don't want it. But I can't take it to Target and give them my, my Shieldred the Apocalypse and buy, a PS5 game. Like, you just can't. That's not how it works. So I need to turn this card into money, to things that I can trade for, a value that I can trade for things, either more cards or any other good in the world. Now, who's going to give me $100 for this card? Well, somebody who needs that card, somebody who wants that card, somebody who's actively seeking that card out. Okay, do I know any of those people? No. I'll scroll through, I'll message my friends on Discord or scroll through my contact list. A commander and I'd ask around, but everybody's already has their Shieldred or whatever the card is. Nobody needs it. So now I'm stuck with this valuable thing that I can't do anything with. Now, I could sell it on eBay, but then, the fees are 15-ish%, whatever it is. I'm going to have to ship it in a bubble mailer. I don't have any bubble mailers. I got to buy at least 25 of them. I don't have anything to pack it in. I got to go buy some top loaders, some sleeves. I need tape. I need printing paper to print out the packing slip. I need a printer. like, I need to. I don't know how to print out. I don't know what pirate ship is. So do I have to go to the post office and just pay the retail price? That's very expensive. So the costs add up. You don't have any systems in place. You don't have a way to dispose of it. But you go to a card show and you see a guy like me. He's got tons of magic cards at his table. And you say, hey, that guy will take my card because I will. I'll take your $100 card. I will take it and I will sell it to somebody who wants it. And I have spent the time and invested the capital to build systems. I have a card bot. I have a scanner with a auto loader. I'm pointing like it's over here because it is. I have connections at card shows that I can set up at. I have a network of buyers that I've cultivated. I have an eBay presence that has 600 or 700 feedback. I have a TCG player presence that has 10,000 sales. I have all the supplies. You know, I have a system in place to take that card and maximize the value out of it. Yes, I might still have to pay some platform fees if I sell on TCG player, but that is going to be on me. You, the buyer, are paying for that system. That you are paying for the service of This guy's gonna give me 70 bucks. He's gonna take my card. I'm gonna go use that. That is more valuable to me as the buyer than I'm gonna go get $82.13 from eBay and then and then I made $13 more or $12 more, but now I have 24 extra bubble mailers and I have a bunch of labels and it's just, and that doesn't even include the postage. So it is hard to dispose of those cards. So that delta, that 30%, that is the service fee essentially for you trading the card. You are selling the card to me and me giving you cash to go do whatever you want with. The flip side is the vendor. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody how to spend their money, obviously. Trading and is a whole different thing. We'll do another video on trading. But as the vendor, it is incumbent upon you to uphold your end of the service, your end of the kind of social contract that's set out at the card show environment. So I'm going to use Magic, for example. This applies to Pokemon, Ripbound, whatever card you're buying. So somebody comes up to me with a binder and they say, hey, like the guy down there at the other table told me you buy Magic. I'm looking to pick up some Pokemon cards or I'm looking to go do whatever. Will you take a look at my binder? And if you have the capital, you should take a look. It's one thing if you spend all your money or you set your spending budget and you're not buying cards. Fine, totally fine. It's one thing if you get the binder and it's all beat up $5 cards or cards that are like too expensive for you. Like people come up to me all the time and say, "Hey, I have a set of revised duels. Will you buy them for 80%?" And like, yeah, if I had tens of thousands of dollars in capital to just tie up in cards that are going to be harder to take me a while to sell, I would love to buy them, but that's not me. That's not my business model. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I know this guy on Instagram, that guy down there buys that kind of stuff. Good luck. I'm sorry. That's one thing. But imagine they come to you with a binder full of fetch lands or a binder full of 20 to 40 to $50 cards. Um, it is my pet peeve when vendors flip through it and they say, "Oh, I don't see anything." That is treating it like a trade night at your local game store. "Oh, I don't see anything I need." And I think that leads to some frustration on the buyer's end because they say, "Okay, well, I understand you're a part-time vendor. I understand you have a full-time job and this is what you do for a hobby. But like on the other side, like if you did see something you liked in here that you needed for your deck, or you did see something you like, that'll sell eventually, you're going to insist that you pay 70% for it, and that's fair. But it almost just feels like all the good stuff gets taken, and I get left with the chaff that I don't have anything to do with. And I have developed many good relationships that have led to fruitful long-term business relationships, both buying and selling, um, by saying, okay, I'm a little tight on cash, but here are the 2 or 3 cards that I could work on. I pay 70%. This is what we could do. Or if it's the beginning of the day or the end of the day and I have a lot of cash, I'll say, oh yeah, uh, you know, I'm, I don't, when I'm buying, it's a little hard to pick out. Like you got a lot of cards here. Is there anything you're looking to sell? And they pick the cards that they think they want to sell, and then I'll price them out and pay for them. If I can't buy the whole binder, I'll ask them first, which ones are you looking to sell? Because that builds the trust of, oh, this guy's not just going to take my best card to 70%. He's asking me, like, he doesn't care. Like, what cards do you want to sell? I'll buy those. And then it is my job to go make that other 30% by doing what I do with all the systems I put in place. And if they say, no, I'm just looking to get some cash, then yeah, I'll think in my head, okay, well, I could probably spend 200 bucks right now based on the amount of cash I have in my wallet, for the show or whatever. So I'll flip through and I'll pull stuff out that I think will sell well. But that is only after I have narrowed down of like, am I the right buyer for these cards? No, exit. Okay, I'm the right buyer. What can I afford? Okay, here's my budget. Okay, here's what I can afford. Let me ask them what they want to sell. Let's give the customer and the client the benefit here to figure out how they want to get their value out of their cards. Okay, they said they want to sell this card, but they don't care they don't care which other ones. Like it's okay if you don't want to buy anything, but these are the 3 cards they're trying to sell. So okay, well I'll buy those cards at 70%. In my head, like, okay, still got 100 bucks left over. I'm gonna pick out around $100 worth of cards, and we'll go from there. You don't have to buy the whole binder, but I think it is incumbent on a vendor to at least understand that you are offering a service, and part of that is you got to take some of the stuff that people don't want. And you can just be picky and kind of take the take, as my grandma used to say, she was in an assisted living home, and they would all the she say all the old people just go and take the top of the blueberry crumble, like the pie crust part. Um, you could just take the top of the blueberry crumble of cards and leave the blueberries for the rest of the vendors. I think that is I think that it is um, incumbent upon the vendor to understand that dynamic. The other thing I will do is if I have the capital, I'll ask them what they think about selling the whole binder. One, you can usually get a better deal that way. Like you can say, listen, like there's stuff in here that is under whatever. Like I'll buy the whole binder for you at 65% or 60%, or I don't have time to price this whole binder out. It's 1,000 cards, but like these are the ones that are the most expensive. Like I'll give you $1,000 for it, and and I'm always very transparent. I say, I'm not going to price these out. That could be overshooting. It could be undershooting. I'm not sure based on my experience. This is what I think is a fair offer. This is what I would be willing to give you for this binder right now. And if you agree with that, let's do it. If you don't, totally fine. Here is my email. And I'll always give them my business cards. Like, here's my email. Here's my Instagram. Hit me up later. Like, if you have a list, send it to me. Or if you have pictures, send it to me when I have some more time, and I'll go through it and I'll price it out for you and we can work something out. So I guess my point is, from the buyer's perspective, you are paying for a service. By that is where the percentage of market value comes in. From the vendor's perspective, you are providing a service. They are paying you 30% of the market value for that service. It is your job to make sure that that 30% feels worth it to them, both in the moment and long term. All right. Thank you for listening to my lecture on on buying cards at card shows. But again, my name is Michael. I run Fable Table Games, fabletablegames.com. Find me there. Find me on Instagram. Find my you are on YouTube. Follow me on YouTube if you want to subscribe. Like whatever. Yeah. See you in the next one.